This is Alex's story of how some of his most joyful experiences became a hunting nightmare. The story goes like this. 4 years ago, Alex had just completed his MBA and returned to his hometown with dreams and hopes for the future. His friends, excited about his return, gathered at his house to greet him with open arms. There was laughter, nostalgia, and stories from the past. However, one face was conspicuously missing from the gathering: his childhood friend, David. Alex felt an unsettling sense of unease. David was like a brother to him, and it was unusual for him to miss such an occasion. Alex brushed aside his worries, assuming David had probably been busy or had some other reason for not showing up. Later that evening, as Alex sat in the living room, his mother approached him with a grave expression on her face. She hesitated for a moment before finally revealing the truth. David had been involved in a terrible accident while traveling from Paris to meet Alex. The news hit Alex like a bolt of lightning. He immediately called David's number, his heart racing with fear. David's voice, filled with pain, came through the phone. "Alex, I met with an accident. My right hand is fractured and I'm in the hospital. I'm so sorry I couldn't come to see you." Alex felt a mix of relief and worry. He assured David that his health was more important than anything else, and he should focus on recovering. Then, as if out of habit, David said, "Why don't you come to Paris? It's been ages since you visited. It would be great to catch up." Alex agreed to the idea, wanting to support his friend during his recovery. He packed his bags and headed to Paris a few days later. As Alex explored the vibrant streets of Paris, he couldn't help but feel a sense of nostalgia. One day, he decided to visit the iconic Eiffel Tower, a symbol of the city's charm. He stood there, admiring the grandeur of the tower and the Seine River flowing nearby. When he first saw her, Alex felt like time had stopped. His eyes couldn't move away from her enchanting presence. To his surprise, she noticed him too, and her lips curved into a welcoming smile. It was that smile that gave Alex the courage to approach her. With a racing heart, he walked up to her and stammered, "Do you also live in Paris?" It was a simple question to break the ice, but his mind was a whirlwind of thoughts. He talked about how he was visiting the city and how beautiful he found it. Hours passed as they delved into conversations about their lives, interests, and dreams. Alex found himself captivated by her, and his thoughts were consumed by her presence. Every day he eagerly got ready and went to the Eiffel Tower at the same time, hoping to see her again. Over time they became like old friends, sharing stories and laughter. One seemingly ordinary day, as Alex waited for her, dark clouds gathered overhead, and suddenly rain started pouring heavily. Alex was torn between the desire to see her and the concern about the pouring rain. Would she even come in this downpour, or should he head back? As he stood there, lost in thought, a soft, delicate hand extended towards him. Startled, he turned to see her standing there, holding an umbrella above her head. Relief washed over him as he realized she had come despite the rain. He smiled warmly, but beneath the surface, he couldn't ignore the nagging feeling that something about her was inexplicably different. She spoke softly, her voice like a haunting melody. "The rain won't let up any time soon. My house is close by. Let's go there before you catch a cold." Alex was both relieved and apprehensive, but he couldn't resist her inviting gesture. With every step towards her house, the mysteries surrounding this beautiful girl deepened. As Alex entered her house, a sense of unease began to gnaw at him. It was his first time here, and something didn't feel quite right. The house was nestled deep within the Swiss Alps, surrounded by lush vegetation that had grown wildly. From the outside, it looked like nature had taken over. But as Alex glanced through a side window, he could see the interior was meticulously maintained, a stark contrast to the overgrown exterior. Just as he was taking in the eerie ambience, his phone rang. It was David calling. Alex hurriedly reached for his phone, but his trembling hands caused it to slip from his grasp. It fell to the ground with a resounding thud. Cursing his clumsiness, he bent down to pick it up. As he retrieved his phone, his eyes shifted downward, and what he saw froze the blood in his veins. He stared in disbelief and horror at her feet, or rather, what should have been her feet. They were anything but normal. They were the complete opposite of what they should be, as if nature itself had twisted and contorted them into something unnatural. Alex's heart pounded in his chest, and he was paralyzed with fear for a moment. When he mustered the courage to look up, she was standing there, her eerie smile intact. She watched him with those unsettling eyes, and it felt like she could see straight through his soul. Without thinking, without hesitating, Alex bolted. He ran as fast as his legs could carry him, desperately trying to put distance between himself and that horrifying sight. The rain had already stopped, and people were beginning to return to the streets. He didn't know if he survived, because she had let him go, or if he had been saved by David's call. The terror of that encounter haunted him, and Alex knew he had narrowly escaped a malevolent force that dwelled within the house in the Swiss Alps. The memory of her twisted, otherworldly feet and that eerie smile would forever be etched in his mind, a chilling reminder of the horror he had encountered on that fateful day.